I have had a day, and this is the most requested thing on the channel, so I'm totally down to listen to some beautiful music. Let's do this. Let's not do this. This is a bit of a buzzkill. It's so ready. Alright, let's do this. Alright, I gotta move myself from this. I'm not that important.
Hello, Tiny Desk. I'm Chloe.
And I'm Halle.
And we are so happy to be here with you all virtually. We want to welcome you all to our world.
This is Don't Make It Harder on Me.
Just friends now. You already had your chance. So I need you to stop saying the things you say. I don't want no regret. No, the reason I didn't stay. If you keep acting so sweet, I might just wake up and leave. This boy that I think he swore we'd be together for sure.
I hate to stop it. But wow. This is a wonderful example of, so not only are they have beautiful voices, but the importance of blending and maintaining like your contribution as a performer, as an artist.
And we are so happy to
and
be here
just
with
this first note almost gets me right off, right? I mean, it does get me right
This
off.
is Don't Make It Harder on Me.
Like, I won't make you listen to that 20 times, but if I wasn't recording, I'd like, you know, like I'd have to listen to that over and over. If you want notes as a performer, like the power of silence, right? Like how quiet they are when they start, and then I was just, and they're just, oh man, like it's just really pretty. Wow. So good. So good. One of the things that I'm realizing about R&B singers, probably more than any other genre that I've been exposed to, forgive me, I'm new, but more than any genre that I've seen, the amount of colors that R&B singers seem to just be able to like have, it's really impressive. So when we sing, we can have a high larynx, we can have a low larynx. This thing moves around, right? And when they're singing and blending together, they have a high larynx. And when you have a high larynx, you can even hear it in my speaking voice if I do this. This is me with a high larynx. So you can do this when you sing. All you have to do is swallow. And when it gets to the height, you can actually hold it there. You can hold it there with your muscles. And those muscles can develop and you can hold it. But that's not good enough for them. They want the low larynx. So then she comes in with a harmony, and they're just like, they're like right on it. Their harmonies are gorgeous, and they're so well done. And she's in her low with that lowered larynx, while she's still up there with that high larynx. And so they're making room for each other. Oh. That's so good. Oh man. So silky smooth. It's like if Disney were good. You know what I mean? Like it's like that's how like that's so smooth, but it's like it's also not like it's good. Like it's not like cheesy camp. It's honest. It's like really good. Right back into locking into each other. Okay. Okay, so generally when you do a run here, sorry again, I know everyone wants me to never stop, but I have to gush. That's so good. Putting aside the fact that they did that together and they synced up and they were right on it, like that's extraordinary musicianship. But when we do runs, we want to generally lighten our voice. Because it allows, like, when you lighten your voice, the folds are thinner and they can move more easily, right? A little bit more elastic. So she does that, but then she does something that's really hard. And she makes it a little bit easier, but it's also music. So she goes up and then tilts her larynx, which is going to give her more power and going to give her that vibrato. So she goes to the bottom, and then she's able to carry up a lot of that lusciousness, and that's excellent breath control. That's tilting the larynx at like a really good time. And then I've seen this a lot, and more as I listen to more R&B, people use the tilt to crescendo, and it's like so smart. In classical music, it's tilted all the time, because you have to sing over an orchestra, so it's kind of one note, right? But like the way she does that, just like check it out, just listen to it really carefully. How she goes down and then scoops up. There's a lot going on there. And it sounds easy, but it's really hard. Right? Like, that's really cool. That's just rude. That's wow. Okay, so this is called vowel modification. One of the names for it, right? Like, so she's I forget. I don't know who. I know they said in the beginning. The girl on the left. One of the ways you can smooth out and kind of like round out a tone. I talk a lot about the soft palate, but you can do it with the tongue too. If you go e, right, like you can narrow your tongue a little bit, and you can narrow, and you can drop the soft palate. And one makes up for the other. When you narrow the tongue, you need less breath pressure because your singing becomes more inefficient. And so by dropping your soft palate a little bit, and they're a little tied too, so it kind of happens one happens with the other, right? But then that relieves a little bit of the breath pressure. And she's using that to warm her tone. Like you see that you hear what I'm saying? Harder on me, like. And it's really cool. Like if you're an audio engineer, whenever you're trying to make instruments work together, you EQ, right? Like you'll remove highs, you'll add lows. They're making room for each other with their freaking voices, right? With their mouth holes. They're making room for each other here. High larynx, she's really bright vowels, darker vowels in the lower pitch. It's like this is so good. Ooh, there's a little Joker laugh there, go a little crazy. Ooh, I love that angelic tone. It's like Philadelphia cream cheese, but better because it doesn't make me fat.
Thank you.
Thank
you. That was fun.
That was fun. Oh, wow.
Whew. They're like, well, that was fun. That was good. We're just, You know, doing a little bit of that.
Well,
Come
I'm
on.
happy to be here at home style,
This
right?
is so cool.
This is
Yeah.
really good.
So this next song we're about to sing, this song for ourselves as a mantra to let ourselves know that whatever happens will be okay and that this is our world. And yeah, so this is Baby Girl.
And it's this is what I love like about music. Sorry, this is so different than a lot of the stuff I've been hearing. Right? Like this is just it's so cool that people do stuff. That's a profound statement. People do stuff.
Make it look so easy. One day I'm talking to Jesus. Then I was talking to demons.
This might not look like a lot, but what she's doing with her body, I mean, obviously, like feeling the music, great stuff. But the torso, if you don't have a loose torso, you're gonna have a lot of breath problems. You're gonna run into problems because it's like a balloon. If I had a balloon, I'd show like it's just like squeeze the balloon, right? These are large muscles, and the torso when it's expanded, there's less pressure, right? And then you contract, right? So having a loose torso is huge. And good singers of all sorts of genres, all over the place, I've always seen a lot of torso mobility from really good singers. And like, I just think it's important to point out for people that are just starting.
All the sights I've
This is
seen, all the
good to
sights I've
actually do if you want to move around a little bit with your torso. Maybe because I have to tell myself that because I'm chronically Caucasian, but just a good point to have.
to the radio. Try to play it for my Casio. Even try to call my Romeo. Hey, just so hard to let it go. I'm not there, but I'm getting close.
That was a really interesting interval too. It's not like a third or fifth. It was like I don't know what the interval is. It was really interesting.
Baby girl.
Man, their blending is phenomenal.
It's your world.
I can't even imagine how much they practice together.
Baby girl.
And same thing again with this vowel modification.
Do it for the girls all around the world.
Whether or not that's intentional, I don't know, but it works in their favor, and it's a really cool thing.
All around the world, for the love, for the love, for the love.
That takes a lot of control. That run right there, like I said, when you do vowel modifications that are less bright, you're putting your tongue more in your throat, right? So that makes singing a lot less efficient. And so, brilliant breath control to be able to thin out the folds and make that run happen while also warming it up. Not easy. Like that fluttery is so lovely too.
But I'm still so clean, yeah. And I step onto the patio, try to listen to the radio.
Ooh.
Try to play up in my Casio, even try to call my Romeo. Hey.
Oh man, there's a lot of tone changing stuff. I don't know how much time I want to like. I think I could spend way too much time here. Gotta spend a little bit of time here. This is too cool. So same thing happening with the runs, but here's this gradual dynamic. So that is a belt tilt. It's different from a classical tilt. So there's when you want to go up high and you want power, and after a certain point you actually have to tilt the larynx to thin the folds even more. So you can tilt the folds like this and go right, and you get more power and stuff like that. But there's another piece of cartilage that can move, and that's responsible for belting. I don't know how to do it. But the fact that she's like, it seems like R&B singers just know how to do both. Like I've seen a lot of them just be able to do both. It's really impressive. Usually people only do one or the other. Like a falsetto there. Oh man, it's just like so much. Good mic technique too. So, unfortunately, with singers in this sort of setup, you usually just have to have a lot of compression, and it's hard. Like these girls are really talented, and they can absolutely do dynamics with their voice. But again, like to get what you want, sometimes you need mic technique. Right? So, impeccable musicianship there. This is hard to do. You should be lightening up as you go up, but specifically what she's doing here, if I can get to this point. So that airy sound, what we guess would call falsetto, right? Your folds are flipping, right? So it's hard when you put in a lot of breath pressure. It's called the Bernoulli effect. If you take two pieces of paper, you can do this now. Blow between two pieces of paper right there, they'll come together. So that's not all that there is to it, but that is how the folds close. And if you put more breath in there, they'll thicken. But you're in a constant battle when you go up because you need to thin them, right? So that's why high notes take less air. So one of the ways our body adapts to that is the folds will flip, and then you don't have to deal with that. But it does behoove you to know how to flip into them very quickly, and it's worth noting here, right? So wow. So, larynx went up a little bit there, just for, again, a different sort of tone. And then she's very contrary to what she's been doing. The girl, I guess that's Chloe. I'm so sorry. I don't know many things. Her palette has been down a lot, and it makes for good blending, and it makes them sound really good together. But when she's wanting to be sassy, she wants a little bit more upper partials, right? She wants a little bit more, right? So she lifts her soft palette, and then also lifts her larynx.
Taking pictures, make sure you can see no lace. That wig secure, like the money in a safe. I look like bae.
See, bae, very bright, right? Very different from what she was doing. Like, she sounds like a Disney princess that doesn't suck. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's ridiculous. Oh, this is fun. Oh, come on now. That's just too cute. That's great. This is a very, very kind of different vibe. Yes. Oh, that's so cool. So again, just so much playing with color and tone. She goes into speaking voice here to emphasize certain words. I'm so obsessed with her singing, I can't even listen to the words, which is not good. I need to work on that. Just straight up into a speaking voice. And like again, that the sassiness that they're trying to portray when they come in together, they both introduce nasality right on the spot. I'll drop my finger when it happens. Right. I think that's easy to hear, right? Just mastery, you know, like of their voices. It's really cool. Sorry, I like hate stopping. But lesson teaching moment. If you are a lighter voice, if you're just a higher voice, you can very quickly disappear in your low. Adding nasality or adding twang, which is sure, the area epiglottic sphincter is the muscle. We freeze. Let's just call it twang. She's not doing it a lot, and she might even just be really brightening her vowels like that on the bottom. But that is how, if you're a lighter voice, you can be heard on the bottom, particularly if you're paired with somebody who does have a deeper voice than you.
To the early
vocal fry. Right? Like, and you can do that on words. It's just, I'm gonna have to do this in a part 2. Oh god, I'm so late. Worth